Good morning. It's Sunday, May 31st. Caught me in the garden. I'm about ready to trellis the tomatoes. This tomato is going to overtake the cage, so it's time to go ahead and start trellising these tomatoes. Before we start pulling the strings up, let's look them over and prune off what we need to before we get started. Now this leaf has got some flea beetle damage and it's touching the ground, so we're going to go ahead and just remove it. Pretty good sized leaf. That leaf's not touching the ground yet, so I think we're okay. We've got a runner here, actually a double runner. We'll go ahead and clip that out. Now remember, be very careful up around the top when you're looking at the runners. You don't want to clip the top off, you'll stop it from growing. Here's another runner right here. That won't produce anything, it's just in our way. Clip that out. This tomato seems pretty clean, so what we're going to do, get ready to string this up. You can use any kind of twine that you like. We like the plastic hay bale twine. So you flip it up over the top, get about your right length. Flip it off. Go ahead and give yourself some extra and then tie it, then make a knot at the top, make a double knot so it doesn't slip so easy. Nothing worse than the wind comes blowing and everything slid down to one side. Alright, what you're going to want to do, come down a little ways, a little slip knot in it, tighten it down, and then as the tomato grows up, you can use this wrap around, help hold the tomato on your string. Do that in a couple places. It's just a basic slip knot. This knot will slide real easy. Put in a zip tie. Zip tie is not going to go anywhere after we get going here, but you're going to want them in pre-position. Alright, now come down to the tomato. You run your string just inside the top of the cage. You wrap it lightly around the tomato a couple times, down to the bottom wire. Once you're down at the bottom, just tie it off. Now as this grows, we'll go ahead and train it around under each leaf as it continues to grow. When it gets up a little bit, we can use a zip tie to help hold it in place. But that's all there is to it. We're starting to trellis. Let's do this 20 more times and we can go have a cup of coffee. Alright, the thing is you got to read your plants. This one, when we were originally taking out the suckers, had already split and branched. It's got a very thick main stem. So we're going to go ahead and treat it as a split and give it each one side of the string, instead of trying to crowd it all on one string, even though it's one plant. I got this for a nickel at a farm sale, so I'm not too worried about cutting it a little long. A couple of those back, I made a little mistake, cut them just a little short. I had to come out with my best Cub Scout knots just to get them tied. Got plenty you can take. There's enough you can leave a little bit on here. You can prune that up at the end. I like to put a double knot at the top. It will still slide, but it won't slide as easy. And the cages and the weight of the tomato will hold it down, but it won't make it so permanent that it can't move if it has to. And that's all there is to it. We'll see what we get. And as you come out, any leaves that are within the cage, make sure you keep lifting them up over the top of the cage, or if need be, prune them off. Just trellised up 20 tomatoes in about an hour. It's not that big a deal. This way we got a lot more tomatoes in a smaller space. Use some cheap string, but it'll last. You know, it's about making food. Hey, thanks for coming to the garden this morning, watching me trellis up some tomatoes. Think we're going to do okay here. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Bear, if you're going to give a guy free tomatoes, why don't you give him a couple specimens that'll actually do something? These are doing great, Bear. I'm going to put some small stakes on them just to keep them going. Once they get a little more size to them, we'll replace that, add a much more substantial stake. Determinate tomatoes, they don't get very big. We usually have pretty good luck with these smaller stakes, but I like to put the stake just outside the bottom ring, on the inside of the top two rings. We also have the trellis to tie to if we need to. Doing this early makes it easier than doing it later, which is the understatement of the world. And there you have it. Pre-staked, determinate tomatoes. If you hit the subscribe button, it tells YouTube you like this video. That way we can get it out to other people. Thanks for coming. God bless you. Come on, let's plant. Let's go plant garden.